Sometimes when you're standing on the path that God has laid out for you in life, you don't see the path because you're standing on it. But when you're at the end, it's crystal clear the moment I held my baby that cancer, everything, was the only option to get to my baby, and it was through adoption. At the age of 26, I was diagnosed with cancer and went through a year of radiation and chemo and had a radical hysterectomy. So I knew that I could be a mom, but just not the normal way. So adoption ended up our road. I am a kindergarten teacher. I've taught for 17 years in the public school system, and all 17 years I've been in kindergarten. God just knows what He's doing. When, first of all, I met Danny, Danny and I are meant to be, and so we know each other so well that I knew exactly what to do to help Danny through the adoption process, because it was kind of an uncomfortable process for him. I had to be a mom. I had to. And Danny was just content with Danny and I. And I remember a conversation we had, and he said, "Wendy, why am I not enough?" And I said, "But you are. But I just need a baby just to make it that much better."
My wife went and did all the paperwork through an adoption agency and filled out a bunch of forms, background checks, and I didn't do a whole lot. She did pretty much everything.
Well, the first thing you're going to go through is some sort of investigation. They're going to do background. They're going to make sure that you don't have a criminal history, something of this nature. They're going to make sure that you have a strong psychological profile, that you can take care of yourself. They're probably going to check out your financial means to make sure you can at least take on the extra responsibilities and survive that way.
How we got started going through it all is because some girl was pregnant that my wife's mom knew, and she was going to give her child up for adoption.
My mom called in July on a Friday night and said, "I have a friend who has a niece who's pregnant, who's thinking about going through the adoption process with her baby. Would you be interested?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Let me talk to Danny and we'll kind of figure it out." And so I called her back and I said, "I think we're interested. You know, this might be our road to becoming parents."
Started going through an adoption agency, and they were talking about us having the child.
So I contacted a lawyer who then said we were in such a rush because the baby was due in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, that we were in such a rush. There was only one adoption agency locally who could handle our case. And so we did a home study, which usually takes an average of 3 months, and we filled out the paperwork in about 2 days. And when they had to come visit our home to continue the home study, but in the meantime, the birth mom had had her baby early, just a couple, about a week early.
The girl ended up keeping her baby.
I was devastated. I sat in that chair out there and looked at God and was so mad. So mad. I didn't understand why. I just didn't understand why.
The adoption agency called like a couple weeks later and told us they had another girl that was looking to adopt.
And so to finish the home study that we had already paid for, the social worker had to come out one more time. And I was fine, it's fine, just have her come out. And as the social worker left, she said, "I have a birth mom who just can't pick anybody. She just cannot find the parents of her unborn baby. She just cannot pick the parents. She said, "Can I show her your picture?" And I said, "Yeah." She made her final decision. We were called that we were like in the running. There were some finalists, you know. But then my sweet baby couldn't wait to meet us because he was born that night. So we actually never met the birth mom before Zach was born. I came running back in the room and I was screaming, "He's perfect!" I was so happy. But looking back, God had to be laughing, because in the chair that I'm so mad at him and I'm just yelling at God is the exact chair that in less than a week I would be rocking my baby to sleep every night. So I'm sure God just thought, typical Wendy. Zero patience.
That's how we ended up with Zach. The hardest part about adoption was waiting the 6 months until it was finalized by a judge.
Missouri is, they used to make you pay for it and then they would reimburse you, and it could be very expensive doing that. It's still expensive, it's the hidden costs that are expensive, but the state, or at least the county, reimburses or even pays for many times the actual legal cost.
The most rewarding part was being with Zach and spending all the time with Zach and getting to know Zach.
Zach's zodiac sign is Cancer. He's my Cancer baby. And I remember thinking, I will never take anything for granted. The good, the bad, everything.
The outcome was very positive after it was all said and done with adopting.
I kind of wish everyone could go down the adoption road because it makes everything just so special. Everything. I will never complain of going to soccer practice or baseball practice. It's all I ever dreamed of. It's a scary road, but when you hold your baby, crystal clear. I always tell people cancer was easy. Thinking that I'd never be a mom almost killed me. I dream of nothing. I'm a mom.